Hi, my name is Maria, and welcome to the MSU Denver Institute for Women's Studies and Services Student Loan Forgiveness Workshop. This PowerPoint was developed by our Associate Director, who has been helping college students research and navigate student loan forgiveness programs for more than 6 years. Student loan forgiveness is something that a lot of students don't know about, and these are students who could potentially be eligible for these programs. There are also a lot of misconceptions about loan forgiveness. For example, that student loan forgiveness is only for teachers, which is not true. People also don't realize that there are many different student loan forgiveness programs, each with its own criteria for eligibility and participation requirements. For some, you must apply and getting in can be competitive. For others, you simply have to meet all the requirements. So that you can refer to it during the video, please pause the video now and download the PDF handout. Click on the link below this video to access the PDF handout titled PSLF Handout. And while you have the presentation paused, take a moment to read the cartoon on this page. This video was posted in the summer of 2016. So all amounts, website addresses, and other information are current as of the posting time. However, this information may change in the future, so please refer to the websites listed on your handout for the most up-to-date information. Please note that all of the information in this presentation is adapted from various websites. The website address will appear on the bottom of each page of this PowerPoint presentation. All of these websites are also listed in your handout. On the handout, you will see blue arrows on the right side of the page. These arrows tell you which links correspond to which slide numbers, which can be found in the orange circle on the bottom right-hand side of each slide. So, for example, the very first arrow on your handout reads Slides 2 through 5. The arrow points at links that give more information about the topics found on slides 2 through 5. Remember, the slide numbers can be found in the orange circle on the bottom right-hand side of each slide. With the handout, you don't have to scramble to write down all the links as you watch and potentially miss some of the information. So sit back and follow along with your handout. One final note before we get started. We have also posted the script to this video in PDF format for our deaf or hard of hearing viewers. You can find a link to the script right below this video, titled PDF Script. Okay, let's get started. Let's talk briefly about what you can expect from this presentation. This presentation is also not intended to give you all information that exists about every student loan forgiveness program out there. It also will not answer every single question you have. Instead, it is intended to be a jumping off point. We want to give you enough information so that you can identify one or more programs that you may be eligible for, and then get online and research those programs. Please note that you will get the most out of this presentation if you print out the handout and do follow-up research after watching the video. Before we talk about loan forgiveness, let's go over some definitions. If you don't repay your student loans once they become due after graduation, you go into default. Default, aka loan delinquency, is 270 or more days of missed monthly payments on a federal student loan. The consequences of defaulting are not fun. The entire balance of the loan becomes due, principal plus interest, in a single payment. The government may withhold your tax refunds to repay the loan. You may have to pay additional fees after your loan is assigned to a collection agency. The government will garnish 15% of your wages from your employer to repay your loan. The government may take legal action to force you to repay the loan. Credit bureaus will be notified and your credit rating will suffer. You are no longer entitled to any deferments or forbearances. How to avoid defaulting on your loan. Keep in close contact with your lender. This means that you need to read all emails and letters that you get from your lender, even though they are long, boring, repetitious, and written in tiny font. Also, make sure you know the date that your first loan payment is due. Another way to keep from defaulting is to make on-time payments. You can also participate in a loan forgiveness program, or apply for deferment or forbearance. We will define these words in just a few slides. What is a grace period? Most federal loans have a 6-month grace period after graduation, which means that you do not have to start repaying your loans until 6 months after you graduate. It's important to note that federal PLUS loans and private loans do not have grace periods. Most undergraduates do not have PLUS loans. If so, these are taken out through your parents. However, if you go to graduate school, you may take out a Graduate PLUS loan. Private loans are, for example, if you go to your bank and say, "Hi, I'm a college student and I'd like a loan." These are not federal loans and not recommended. Please note, if you stopped out for a semester, then returned to school, you have used up your grace period for any loans prior to your stop-out date. Therefore, those loans will become due when you graduate. What is loan deferment? Deferment is an agreement, usually written and signed between you and your lender, that allows you to not make loan payments for a certain amount of time, but remain in good standing. You may qualify based on certain circumstances, and we'll go through each of those. In-school deferment. This is the only type of deferment that is usually automatic. If you enter into a graduate school program or take classes at any college at least part-time, which is 6 or more credit hours, you will usually get in-school deferment automatically. If for some reason this doesn't happen, contact your lender so they can fix it. Unemployment deferment. Apply if you have been laid off or have not been able to find a job. Financial hardship deferment. Apply if your income is low. You must meet certain income criteria. Also, deferment is available for certain fellowships, for example, the Fulbright, some active military duty, some Peace Corps and AmeriCorps duty, and some teachers who are in loan forgiveness programs. For most types of deferment, you must apply and submit documentation. Contact your loan holder for information. Forbearance is similar to deferment in that it allows you to not pay your loans for a period of months and still keep your account in good standing. You don't need any special circumstances to get forbearance. Usually, you only need to call your lender and ask. Only 12 months total of forbearance is available per person per lifetime. The main differences between deferment and forbearance are that the deferment agreement is usually in writing and requires documentation. The forbearance agreement can be made over the phone. Forbearance is usually for a few months. Deferment is usually for 6 or 12-month increments. Interest accrues on all loans during forbearance, whereas interest only accrues on unsubsidized loans during deferment. So that brings us to the question, how can you remember the difference between subsidized loans and unsubsidized loans? For unsubsidized loans, the word unsubsidized starts with the letter U. U is also for ugly. So your unsubsidized loans are your ugly loans. They start accruing interest the day you take out the loan. These loans are always accruing interest. Now on to subsidized loans. The word subsidized does not start with the letter U. These loans are not ugly. Subsidized loans do not accrue interest while you're in school, while you're in your grace period, or while you are in deferment. Subsidized loans only accrue interest when you are in repayment or you are in forbearance. This brings us to the question, how familiar are you with your student loans? Do you know what kinds of loans do you have? How many loans you have? How much your loan amounts are? What your interest rates are? Who your lenders are? Look it up on the National Student Loan Data System, NSLDS. It's important to know what kinds of loans you have. Pell Grant distribution info is also available on this website. I recommend that students take a look at NSLDS at least once a semester. You'll need your FAFSA FSA ID to get into the database. What is an income-driven repayment plan? An income-driven repayment plan is a repayment plan that sets your monthly student loan payment at an amount that is intended to be affordable for you based on your income and family size. The U.S. Department of Education offers 3 income-driven repayment plans. Income-based repayment plan, the IBR plan, pay-as-you-earn repayment plan, the pay-as-you-earn plan, and income contingent repayment plan, the ICR plan. Many federal student loans are eligible for at least one income-driven repayment plan. Let's talk about these repayment plans before we get into loan forgiveness, because eligibility to make payments under the IBR or ICR plans is based on income, family size, and no other factors. You can use these repayment plans in conjunction with a SLF program, or even if you don't qualify for a SLF program. IBR is a repayment plan for federal student loans that caps your monthly payment at an affordable amount based on your income and family size. You may be eligible for IBR if your federal student loan debt is high relative to your income and family size. The website on your handout has an IBR calculator, which will estimate what your monthly payments will be under the IBR plan. The IBR calculator estimates if you would be likely to benefit from the IBR plan. Generally, under IBR, you will pay 15% of your income. However, for those who are new borrowers on or after July 1st, 2014, you will generally pay 10% of your income under IBR. Some benefits of IBR are that your monthly payment amount will be less than the amount you would be required to pay under a 10-year standard repayment plan. However, these lower payments may result in a longer repayment period and additional interest. If your monthly IBR payment does not cover the monthly interest that accrues on the loans, the government will pay your unpaid interest on subsidized loans for up to 3 consecutive years from when you first enter IBR repayment. If you repay under the IBR plan for 25 years and meet certain other requirements, any remaining balance will be canceled at the end of the 25 years. If you are a new borrower as of or after July 1st, 2014, any remaining balance will be canceled at the end of 20 years. ICR is similar to IBR. ICR is a plan for people who still need reduced payments but who make too much money to qualify for IBR. The maximum repayment period is 25 years. If you haven't fully repaid your loans after 25 years, and keep in mind that time spent in deferment or forbearance does not count, under this plan, the unpaid portion will be discharged. You may, however, have to pay taxes on the amount that is discharged. Under the ICR plan, you will pay the lesser of the following: 20% of your income, or the amount that you would pay on a repayment plan with a fixed payment over the course of 12 years, adjusted according to your income. For both of these repayment plans, the Department of Education will require you to submit documentation so that each year your monthly payments will be recalculated on the basis of your adjusted gross income, AGI, family size, and the total amount of your loans. The pay-as-you-earn plan is similar to the IBR plan. Like IBR and ICR, you must qualify by income. There is an additional qualification requirement for the pay-as-you-earn plan. For pay-as-you-earn, you also must be a new borrower as of October 1st, 2007, and must have received a disbursement of a direct loan on or after October 1st, 2011. Generally, you will pay 10% of your income, but never more than the 10-year standard repayment plan amount. Under this plan, any remaining loan balance is forgiven if your federal student loans are not repaid in full at the end of the 20-year repayment period. For any income-driven repayment plan, the repayment period includes periods of economic hardship deferment. What is student loan forgiveness? Under certain circumstances, your employer, the government, or an independent organization will repay or cancel all or part of an educational loan. This practice is called loan forgiveness. To qualify, you must serve as a volunteer or work in certain fields, in certain communities, or for certain employers, and meet other specific criteria. What that criteria is depends on the forgiveness program, as each program is different and there are many programs. Student loan forgiveness programs typically start after you have graduated. It's a good thing to learn about now in preparation for graduation so that you will have the information when you need it. What types of loan forgiveness are we going to talk about today? We'll be talking about total and permanent disability discharge, public service loan forgiveness, PSLF, cancellation of Perkins loan, AmeriCorps, Peace Corps, loan forgiveness for certain teachers, loan forgiveness for certain lawyers, loan forgiveness for certain licensed healthcare workers in certain communities, including licensed mental health professionals and licensed social workers, loan forgiveness for certain veterinarians, loan forgiveness for employees of the federal government, and various other programs. We'll cover total and permanent disability discharge, or TPD, first because while most people will never need it, it will be really important to know about it if you ever do need it. Also, you might know someone who can benefit from this program and pass the information along to them. To be eligible for student loan discharge for total and permanent disability, you must be unable to hold any type of job. So you can't work part-time, you can't work from home, due to a medical condition, either physical or mental, that can be expected to result in death, has lasted for a continuous period of at least 60 months, or can be expected to last for a period of at least 60 months. Please note that eligibility for Social Security disability benefits does not mean you are automatically eligible for TPD discharge. In addition to educational loans, you may apply for a TPD discharge of your Teacher Education Assistance for College and Higher Education, or TEACH, grant service obligation. To apply for student loan discharge for TPD, complete the TPD discharge application and submit it to your loan servicer. This means you must fill out the application, have your physician, MD or DO, complete and sign Section 4, and submit a copy of the completed application to your loan holders. Your loan holder and the Department of Education will decide if you are eligible and can receive TPD. For a TEACH grant service obligation, submit a copy of the completed application to the U.S. Department of Education. Veterans of the Armed Forces have a similar total and permanent disability TPD discharge option available to them. The criteria are generally the same as regular TPD. You will apply through the VA. If you are a veteran, you can submit documentation from the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, showing that the VA has determined that you are unemployable due to a service-connected disability. Next, we'll talk about public service loan forgiveness. Borrowers of certain student loans who are employed full-time in public service jobs can make 120 on-time payments on their loans and then have the remaining balance forgiven. 120 monthly payments translates to 10 years. This program is most beneficial for those with relatively high student loan debt in comparison to their income, and those eligible for any income-driven repayment program. If this isn't you, you may completely pay off your student loans by the end of 10 years, in which case you wouldn't need to have any balance forgiven. How do you know if you're eligible? You must not be in default. This is true for all loan forgiveness programs. You must be employed full-time in a public service job during each of the on-time 120 monthly loan payments, at the time that you apply for loan forgiveness, and at the time that the balance of your loan is forgiven. So the timeline goes like this. First, get a public service job. Make the 120 on-time payments. After the end of the 10 years, apply for loan forgiveness, and then stay at your public service job until the balance of the loan is forgiven. Along the way, you can get your public service certified in order to track your progress. We'll talk about this in just a few slides. Now, keep in mind, the 10-year payment period can be broken up, and you can switch employers. The important thing is that you make a cumulative total of 120 on-time payments while working full-time in a public service job. So for example, let's say you work for 6 years in a public service job, then take a year off to have a baby, then go back and work another 4 years in a different public service job. Any payments you made during your year off would not count toward the 120 PSLF payments, but the payments you made while employed in the 2 public service jobs would count. So that leads us to the question, what counts as a public service job? Public service organizations include government jobs, federal, state, local, or tribal organizations and agencies, including most public schools, colleges, and universities. Certain nonprofits. 501c3 nonprofit organizations, including most nonprofit private schools, colleges, and universities. Peace Corps and AmeriCorps, which we will talk about in a little bit. You can work in almost any field in a public service job if you are willing to work for the government. If you think about it, who does the government employ? Bus drivers, gardeners, engineers, architects, teachers, doctors, accountants. Pretty much any job you can think of, there is a government position for that job. If you work for a nonprofit organization and not for a government entity, there are important limitations as to which nonprofits count for PSLF. The organization must be tax exempt, 501c3, must be a not-for-profit organization. It cannot be a partisan political organization or a labor union. It must provide one of these services: emergency management, public safety law enforcement, public interest legal services, early childhood education, public service for individuals with disabilities, public service for the elderly, public health, public education, public library services, school library services, or other school-based services. You also cannot count any work hours spent on religious instruction, worship services, or proselytizing. There is a form available for tracking your public service employment called the Employment Certification Form. Check your handout, read the instructions, download this form, and complete it with your employer on a yearly basis if you are planning on doing PSLF. The first time you complete the form, your loans will be transferred to Fed Loan Servicing, who will update your file each time you complete the certification. They will certify that your hours and employer will count toward PSLF and allow you to see how many payments you have made toward your 10 years and how many you have left. What student loans are eligible for forgiveness under the PSLF program? Non-defaulted federal direct loans, including federal direct Stafford or Ford loans, subsidized and unsubsidized. Federal Direct Plus loans for parents, grad students, and professional students, and Federal Direct Consolidation loans. If you have a loan made before 2008, FFEL loan, you may consolidate into a direct consolidation loan in order to make your loans eligible for PSLF. Any payments made on this consolidated loan will count for PSLF. Again, check your handout for links to more information. Next, we'll talk about Perkins loan cancellation and discharge. Not everyone has Perkins loans. These are loans through your university, and they are usually for small amounts, about $1,000 to $5,500 per year. Again, check www.nslds.ed.gov to see if you have any Perkins loans. Depending on your profession, Perkins loan borrowers can have up to 100% of their loan canceled over the course of 5 years. In this program, cancellation of student loans progresses like this. 15% of your loans will be canceled your first year, and another 15% your second year. 20% will be canceled during the third and fourth years, and 30% will be canceled the fifth year, for a total of 100% cancellation. You can also receive deferment during qualifying service. The professions eligible for cancellation are listed below, but please note that for each profession, specific conditions apply. Research the link on your handout carefully to see what is required for service in your profession to make sure that you qualify. Professions eligible include an attorney, child or family services, firefighter, Head Start, services for people with disabilities, librarian, nurse, medical technician, pre-K or child care, special ed teacher, speech pathologist, certain teachers, tribal college faculty, or VISTA or Peace Corps volunteer. You can see on the slide the chart with maximum for Perkins loans. Although the chart says 2014-2015, these numbers are still good as of July 2016. If you are an undergraduate student, you may be eligible to receive up to $5,500 a year. The total you can borrow as an undergraduate is $27,500. If you are a graduate or professional student, you may be eligible to receive up to $8,000 per year. The total you can borrow as a graduate student is $60,000, which includes amounts borrowed as an undergraduate. Next, we'll talk about loan forgiveness available to those who participate in AmeriCorps or Peace Corps. Please note that we're not going to be talking about the programs themselves. For information about that, please visit their websites. The AmeriCorps website states, AmeriCorps is a chance to apply your skills and ideals toward helping others and meeting critical needs in the community. As an AmeriCorps member, you can tutor and mentor disadvantaged youth, improve health services, build affordable housing, clean parks and streams, and help communities respond to disasters. As an AmeriCorps volunteer, you work with nonprofit groups for a modest living stipend and receive health benefits, as well as an educational award at the end of your service. Full-time members who complete their service earn a Segal AmeriCorps Education Award to pay for college, graduate school, or to pay back qualified student loans. Members who serve part-time receive a partial award. As of July 2016, the maximum award value is $5,775 for 1 year of full-time service. Part-time service will be prorated. You can make payments from your award in full or in parts and can take up to 7 years after your term of service has ended to use your award. The website for the Peace Corps bills Peace Corps service as a life-defining leadership experience. Volunteers serve in 77 countries in Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, Central and South America, Europe, and the Middle East. Peace Corps volunteers live, learn, and work with the community overseas for 27 months, providing technical assistance in 6 program areas such as education, youth and community development, health, business and communications technology, agriculture, and/or the environment. Please note that only Peace Corps volunteers with Perkins loans are eligible for a partial student loan cancellation benefit. For Peace Corps service, 15% of your Perkins loans can be canceled upon the completion of each 365 days of service during your first 2 years of service. 20% can be canceled upon completion of each of the 3rd and 4th years. Therefore, 4 full years of service would equal a 70% cancellation of your existing loan. Deferment of student loans. Most federal student loans are eligible for deferment during Peace Corps service. Some private loans may also be deferred during Peace Corps service. Talk to a Peace Corps recruiter about how this benefit applies to your situation. The Teacher Loan Forgiveness Program encourages individuals to enter and continue in the teaching profession. Under this program, individuals who teach full-time for 5 consecutive years in certain public schools can have part or all of their Stafford loans forgiven. These schools must serve low-income families and meet other qualifications. Teachers can be eligible for forgiveness of up to $17,500 on their federal and/or direct loan program loans. Here is a summary of the loan cancellation eligibility requirements. You cannot be in default on your loans. Again, this is true for all student loan forgiveness programs. The loan was made before the end of your 5 years of qualifying teaching service. You can't double dip with AmeriCorps Educational Award. The school where you taught for 5 years must be in a school district that qualifies for funds under Title I of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965. It also must be selected by the U.S. Department of Education based on a determination that more than 30% of the school's total enrollment is made up of children who qualify for services provided under Title I. And it must be listed in the annual directory of designated low-income schools for teacher cancellation benefits. Please note that the link to this directory is in your PDF handout. Please also note that all elementary and secondary schools operated by the Bureau of Indian Education BIE, or on Indian reservations qualify as schools serving low-income students. These schools are qualifying schools for purposes of this loan forgiveness program. Also, what is Title I? A designation for schools that meet the educational needs of low-achieving children in our nation's highest poverty schools, limited English proficient children, migratory children, children with disabilities, Indian children, neglected or delinquent children, and young children in need of reading assistance. Full-time teachers in an elementary or secondary school that serves students from low-income families can have a portion or all of their Perkins loan forgiven under the National Defense Education Act. You qualify if you teach full-time in a public or nonprofit, private elementary or secondary school system, in a school serving students from low-income families, as a special education teacher, including teachers of infants, toddlers, children, or youth with disabilities, or as a teacher in a designated subject shortage area, such as math, science, the foreign languages, bilingual education. Teaching in a preschool or pre-kindergarten program. You may receive teacher cancellation only if the state considers such a program to be part of its elementary education program. A low-income school directory designation that includes pre-kindergarten or kindergarten does not suffice for a state determination of program eligibility. The Teach for America t-shirt pictured in the corner says, "Why now?" Because only 8% of students from low-income communities graduate from college. Cancellation amounts for years of service. Up to 100% of the Perkins loan may be canceled for teaching service in the following increments. 15% canceled per year for the first and second years of service, 20% canceled for the third and fourth years, and 30% canceled for the fifth year. Each amount canceled per year includes the interest that accrued during the year. Note that you also qualify for deferment while you're performing teaching service that qualifies for cancellation. The American Federation of Teachers, a professional association for teachers, has a database that lets you search for additional teacher loan forgiveness programs at www.aft.org/funding-database. On the drop-down menu entitled Funding Type, choose Loan Forgiveness. This website is also on your handout. Law school loan forgiveness can be available for law students who serve in public interest or nonprofit positions. More than 55 law schools offer loan repayment assistance programs, LRAP, to their graduates, and 24 states offer state loan repayment assistance programs. When choosing a law school, it could be important to consider whether or not a law school offers an LRAP, as well as the availability of such programs if they do offer them. The scope of law school LRAPs ranges from programs offering extensive assistance to a large number of graduates to smaller programs offering moderate assistance to a small number of graduates. Depending on the law school, this number may vary from 1 graduate to over 200 graduates receiving assistance. The majority of these programs extend assistance to graduates working in lower-paying public service jobs. The 24 state LRAPs range in age, size, and scope. Some are administered by a state bar association or foundation, while others are administered through standalone nonprofit organizations. Some are funded through state legislative appropriations, while others rely on funding from the private sector or from interest on lawyers' trust accounts funding. States offering LRAPs include Arizona, District of Columbia, Florida, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Texas, Vermont, and Virginia. Lawyers working for public service organizations can qualify for PSLF as well, so it's worth it to see which program would be more beneficial for you. Quotes are from the ABA report, Lifting the Burden, Law Student Debt as a Barrier to Public Service. Attorney Student Loan Repayment Program. Any U.S. Department of Justice employee serving as an attorney is eligible. Loans must total at least $10,000, and you must complete 3 years of service. This program is competitive. You must apply. The Department of Justice will match up to $6,000 per calendar year. This means that the department will match the annual amount that the recipient pays on his or her qualifying federal student loans, up to the maximum of $6,000 per calendar year. There is an exception for recipients whose annual base salaries are less than $84,000. Those individuals will automatically receive the annual maximum repayment amount without consideration of the amount they individually paid on their federal student loans. There is a lifetime maximum of $60,000. Once awarded, you can reapply for renewal. The John R. Justice Student Loan Repayment Program. This program is competitive. You must apply. To be eligible, you must work full-time. You also must be a licensed attorney and be at least one of the following: a prosecutor employed full-time by the government who prosecutes criminal or juvenile delinquency cases at the state or unit of local government level. Prosecutors who are employees of the federal government are not eligible. A public defender who is either a full-time employee of the government or a full-time employee of a nonprofit organization operating under a government contract who provides legal representation to indigent persons in criminal or juvenile delinquency cases. A full-time federal defender attorney in a defender organization providing legal representation to indigent persons in criminal or juvenile delinquency cases. An attorney providing supervision, education, or training of other persons providing prosecutor or public defender representation. Priority is given to those least able to repay their loans. You can receive up to $10,000 per year for a lifetime maximum of $60,000. Awards are dependent upon which state you reside and practice in, as well as the state's funding allocation each year. Once awarded, you can reapply each year for renewal. The next 9 slides will focus on loan forgiveness for the health professions. These loan forgiveness programs are for licensed healthcare practitioners, medical researchers, and medical faculty. Some programs are for nurses, others are for doctors or PAs, or dentists, or licensed social workers and other licensed mental health care practitioners. Some are for all of these, and a few programs extend to other categories of licensed healthcare workers. In general, these programs are not for administrative positions within healthcare settings. So, for example, if you work in medical billing or as an office manager in a clinic, you would not be eligible for most of these programs. Another important thing to note about loan forgiveness for the health professions is that most of these programs are competitive and often are extremely competitive. That is, you must apply as these programs generally have more applicants than spots in the program. Not everyone who applies can participate in the loan forgiveness program. Colorado Health Service Corps. To be eligible for this program, you must be a U.S. citizen, permanent resident, or eligible non-citizen. For a list of who counts as an eligible non-citizen, visit the website listed on your screen and in your handout. You must also be a Colorado resident. This program is for licensed healthcare professionals providing services for those in need as determined by the program's criteria. For full-time obligations, physicians and dentists can earn up to $90,000. Physician assistants, advanced nurse practitioners, clinical pharmacists, and licensed mental health providers can earn up to $50,000. Dental hygienists can earn up to $20,000. For part-time obligations, one can earn from $10,000 to $45,000. Planning on moving? NHSC has a state-by-state directory of Health Service Corps' SLF programs. Check out their link on your handout. Indian Health Service Loan Repayment Program. This one is an interesting program because there are so many different health professions that can participate. The program awards up to $40,000 in total for a 2-year commitment on the repayment of qualifying health professions education loans, with the potential to extend participation if you still have outstanding loans at the end of the 2 years. Income tax on loan repayments are paid by the LRP. Award recipients agree to a 2-year obligation to practice at a designated Indian health program site. For this program, as with most loan forgiveness programs that have a service requirement, you must sign a contract. Once you sign it, you are obligated to fulfill your terms of service. Priority is given to professionals who will work at Indian health program sites with the greatest staffing needs in specific health profession disciplines. Priority is also given to American Indians, Alaskan Natives, those currently serving in the LRP program, and IHS scholarship recipients. Remember, loan repayment is in addition to your salary. While the loan repayments do represent taxable income, taxes on that income will be paid by the LRP. Qualifying health professions are very wide-ranging and include acupuncturists, advanced practice nurses, counselors, therapists, LCSWs, chiropractors, dentists, assistants and hygienists, doctors, PAs, optometrists, pharmacists, registered dietitian, physical or speech therapists, medical imaging and lab techs, certified professional coders in AAPC or AHIMA, naturopathic medicine, respiratory therapy, and other health professions as determined by the needs of Indian health programs. The National Health Service Corps is a great program for doctors or qualifying health professionals who have a high amount of student loan debt. Who qualifies for the NHSC loan repayment program? Nurses, doctors, physician assistants, dentists, dental hygienists, mental health professionals, including licensed social workers, certified nurse midwives. If you are accepted, you must practice full-time for at least 2 years in areas that lack adequate medical care. Practice at a medical site. That site must be a designated NHSC-approved site in a health professional shortage area. Practice at a medical site with spots open in the LRP. For specific information about designated sites and shortage areas, visit the link on your handout. The NHSC loan repayment program is competitive, with many applicants for only a few spots. First, you must find a job at a designated site with spots open, then apply for the LRP. Preference is given to candidates at higher need sites. Preference is given to candidates from disadvantaged backgrounds. So if you are from a low-income background, if you are a first-generation to college student, or otherwise qualify, you can get preference. There are limits on how many LRP participants can serve at any one site. In general, each designated site has only 9 to 15 spots per profession category. For example, 15 doctors, 15 nurses, etc. For 2 years of service, you can receive up to $50,000 in loan repayment. After 2 years, you can apply for continuation. Then, up to $30,000 for an additional 2-year full-time commitment. Loan repayments are exempt from federal income and employment taxes. There is also a half-time option for less money. For 2 years of half-time service, you can receive loan repayment of $25,000. Up to $15,000 for an additional 2-year part-time commitment. Now let's look at the Nursing Education Loan Repayment Program. This is also a competitive program. You must apply. With 2 years of service, you can get 60% of your nursing education loan balance repaid. The 3rd year is optional, and you can get an additional 25% of your nursing education loan balance repaid. Please note that the classes you are receiving loan repayment for must meet the program's definition of nursing education classes. Eligibility requirements: registered nurse or advanced practice registered nurse, completed training, diploma, associate, bachelorette, or graduate, licensed and employed full-time, work at a public or private, nonprofit designated critical shortage facility. This loan forgiveness is available for licensed full-time nurse faculty as well. Participants also receive salary and benefits. Note that for this program, you must be a U.S. citizen, born or naturalized, or permanent resident, and your education must be from an accredited school of nursing located in a U.S. state. Eligible facilities are listed on the program's website, as well as details on funding preferences. U.S. National Institutes of Health's loan repayment program offers loan forgiveness for medical researchers. You must make a 2-year research commitment. Researchers must be a health professional who has doctoral level degree, MD or PhD, and is conducting biomedical or behavioral research. The program repays up to $35,000 per year of student loan debt. The program will also reimburse you for any federal and state taxes resulting from your repayment award. Researchers can work for the National Institutes of Health, universities, nonprofit organizations, or the government. Each year, more than 1,600 researchers receive contracts from the NIH loan repayment programs. Loan forgiveness for medical school. The American Association of Medical Colleges maintains a database of state and other loan repayment programs for medical school students. You can search by state, designation, like who funds the program, and type, scholarship, repayment, or forgiveness. Loan forgiveness for faculty in the health professions. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services offers the faculty loan repayment program for faculty in the health professions from disadvantaged backgrounds. There is a 2-year teaching commitment. You can receive up to $40,000 total toward repayment of student loans. Your employer should then match those funds. The program pays taxes on the repayment funds. This program is also competitive, and you must apply. In 2014, the Faculty Loan Repayment Program received 143 complete applications and made 19 awards. The program made 20 awards in 2015. Again, websites are listed for all of the above organizations on your handout. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Veterinary Medicine Loan Repayment Program offers loan forgiveness for veterinarians. $25,000 per year can be forgiven for veterinarians who commit to work in a veterinary shortage area for 3 years. You must be a citizen or permanent resident of the United States to qualify. Only veterinary school loans will be repaid. Again, websites are listed for the above organization on your handout. The Federal Student Loan Repayment Program allows federal agencies to establish loan forgiveness programs to help recruit and retain employees. This is a loan repayment program. The agencies make payments directly to the loan holder, and the payments represent taxable income to the employee, differing from most of the repayment programs we've looked at so far. The agencies can repay up to $10,000 in federal student loans per employee per calendar year, with a cumulative maximum of $60,000 per employee. Employees must agree to work for the agency for at least 3 years. The federal government's job site is located at www.usajobs.opm.gov. They also have a site focused on jobs for recent graduates. Please see your handout for the link. Another great resource is a guide put together by www.saltmoney.org. It includes 100 and more ways to get rid of your student loans without paying them. This video includes most of the programs in SALT's guide. However, SALT also includes state-by-state options. So if you live outside of Colorado or are looking to move, check out your state. This guide also has a useful section on loan discharge for closed schools, families of victims of the September 11th terrorist attacks, financial hardship, fraud, and death. Also, it lists information about the SEMA Loan Forgiveness Program for people working in the automotive industry. Do you want more information? Do online research using the websites listed on your handout. Apply for scholarships. Complete MSU Denver's online scholarship application and visit the Institute for Women's Studies and Services. Scholarships are a good way to take out fewer loans. Now, this does not mean that educational loans are bad. However, free money is always better than money you have to pay back, right? Also, start conversations about loan forgiveness with your professors, with professionals at your internships, with people working in your career field, with potential employers. These folks could have information that you do not. And just like some employers have tuition reimbursement programs, some have student loan forgiveness repayment programs. Talk to your employer, or if you are doing a job search, find out about any programs while you are searching. Also, you can always visit the IWSS office. We are located at 1059 9th Street Historic Park on the Auraria campus. You can call us at 303-556-8441 or go online and visit our website at www.msudenver.edu/women/. Remember, all genders are welcome. Thanks for watching our video, and we wish you luck in the loan forgiveness process.